So what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Robert. This is your first time tuning in. So real quickly, obviously we have some crazy news that just happened over the weekend with the attempted Trump assassination. This is going to be the one video that we put out with this topic, unless something crazy happens or another event like this similar happens. But that's pretty much it, and we're just going to go back to our regular content. But it's just something that I wanted to address, something that I wanted to acknowledge, and something I wanted to talk about and bring onto the channel, and to also get other people's opinions on where people are thinking about all this stuff that's happening, especially to Trump. So, obviously, we had the whole Trump assassination that just happened. Absolute miracle that he's still freaking alive, guys. Like, it's just absolutely a miracle, a blessing, a coincidence, lucky, whatever you want to call it. By the grace of God, he freaking made it. I was looking at a chart just before I got on to make this video, and it was an overhead chart of him and his head, and the angle of the bullet. So when he was looking, or when the shot was fired, Trump was looking in a certain direction. Now the bullet would have came and hit him right in that corner quadrant of his head. It would have just basically done this. It wouldn't have been like a dead shot. It would have came on the edge. But when he turned his head, it turned in a way to where it just grazed his ear. So it was literally a miracle that he's still freaking alive. Now, obviously the title of the video is going to be Republican versus Democrat, or good versus evil. So the reason we're talking on this is because they're trying to divide us. They're trying to separate us and turn people against Republicans, turn people against Democrats. I personally don't think that I used to think that it was Democrat versus a Republican. Now that more events are happening and I'm getting a little older, I'm getting a little bit wiser, I don't think it's just Democrat versus, us versus them, or them versus us. I think it's good versus evil. That's what I think it is today. I think it's good versus evil. Now, I am going to mention, for whatever reason, I don't know the reasoning or why, but evil is using the Democratic platform to get things done. I don't know why. They could have chosen the Republican. I don't know why it's being done that way. But they're being used for that agenda, for that reason. I don't know why. And I don't think that a lot of people that are maybe involved in that even fully understand that they're being used for that reason. So nothing against them as well. But, you don't know what you don't know. You're so involved in that situation that you can't step back and look at what's really going on. So that's what I want to kind of get at is, it's not necessarily, us versus them, Democrat versus Republican. It's about good versus evil. And just, kind of look back at what he's had to go through. I mean, this guy does not need to be running for president. He's a 70-something-year-old man who has a lot of freaking money, who has done very good things in his life as far as business and finances go. Why the hell run for freaking president? You don't need to, and especially to put up with all this political bullshit that you have to go through. Most people would be sitting on a yacht right now, or be chilling on the beach, not running for freaking president, taking bullets. Like, the fact that he's doing that says a lot about him as well. Obviously, I am, going towards Trump, not so much Biden. And I do want to mention, I don't support, if the assassination was on the other side as well, I wouldn't support shooting a president, period, because that's it starts to become a dictatorship if you just pull a bullet into somebody's head because you don't like them or you don't like what they're doing. That defeats what we are about here in America. So I don't want to see it on either side. But going back to what I was saying, this guy does not need to be running for president. He's doing it because he thinks we need a change. He thinks we need to do better here in America. That's why he's running for president. And, I've even seen some crazy things. People are saying that he even set this up himself. like, he set this assassination up himself. I was like, what? Like, it's crazy. I mean, I guess they're in the, for the, how should I put this? I never say nothing is ever impossible. So, but I will give it a 99.999% chance that it's not possible he did that. There is always that 0.001% chance he did it, but most likely he did not, set this up himself. And the reason I say that is because the margin of error is so slim. Had he set this up himself, he would have to, I mean, it's not a risk anyone is willing to take. Even a gambling man is not willing to take that risk. So, no, it's just not really realistic. But anyways, back towards Trump. He's a very wealthy man. He does not need to be running for president. He can do anything he really genuinely wants. Why, at this stage of his life, choose to help change the country, right? So, I think his intentions are good. He is a human being, just like Joe Biden and every one of us. We are going to make mistakes. We are human. We are not perfect. But at the end of the day, I do think that he is the best candidate for this election. And I was a little worried whenever I saw that he had been shot at, because for a lot of people, I think a lot of people think that Trump is their last hope for change here in the United States. Now, going back to the good versus evil, whoever are attempting all these things, you don't want those people in charge of your life or your country. The people that are trying to prosecute Trump and 30-something charges, the people who tried to cancel him on the internet, the people who tried to kill him, whoever is in charge on this side that is calling the shots, you don't want those people running this country and running your life. They don't have your best interest in mind. And a lot of people will say, well, Biden's running the country. Biden is not running the goddamn country. He is not running the freaking country. There's no way. That guy is not even running his household. Barely remembers what the hell he did yesterday. So, no, Biden is not the guy pulling the strings here. It's somebody else. Whoever these people or person is calling the shots, and for whatever reason wants to see, the United States crumble. And I guess to kind of get into some of the evil things that are being done, for whatever reason, I've seen a lot of different things out there, but what we have done here in this country in this past, 4 years, 3 years, whatever you want to call it, is absolutely insane. It's crazy. I never thought I would ever live to see any of this stuff, but if I was the devil, I would be trying to, obviously break up the best nation, which is obviously the United States, starting with their men. And how would you do that? You would do that basically how it's going right now. Like, that's evil. How would you do that? How would you break up the country? And the reason you would start with the United States is because you start with the United States, everybody else will follow. The United States has so much influence over the entire world. When we just got back from traveling, we saw even influences from the United States, 10,000, 11,000 miles away in other countries that we were visiting. And it's crazy. So if they can influence and change the United States, the rest of the world will just follow. And something that a lot of people don't know is that the devil does like to be worshipped. And again, I don't want to be super, religious on this channel, but I do believe in God and I do believe in the devil. They both exist. Now, the devil does like to be worshipped. What we are doing today is, as a society, as the world, is we are worshiping the devil. We're mutilating young people. We're transgendering them, whatever you want to call it. We are transitioning them from boys to girls and girls to boys. You have pornography everywhere. You can't even go on the internet without seeing this stuff. You can't look at billboards without seeing this stuff. It's everywhere. You have divorce at the highest. You have just people turning against people. And you're just weakening the man. So if I was to take over the country, where would you want to start? You would want to start with the man. The men typically control or run, whatever country they are in. That's the way it's been for years. So if the devil wanted to take over, the best country so that way he can take over the whole world, he would start the United States. Then he would start with the man. And there's so many things being targeted towards men. Like I said, you have pornography. You have the gender issues. You have just stress. And when I mean stress is also in the economy. You have so much financial stress, which who's usually in charge of the finances? The men. Who is more of a visual observer for pornography? Men. Who are, the people that are really being targeted are men. And if I was trying to break up a country, that's where I would start. If I wanted to take over a country, that's where I would start. So a lot of this stuff is, like I said, evil versus good. And I think Trump stands in the way of the agenda of whoever is in charge of this stuff. I think he is in the way. And that's why they're trying to eliminate him by any means necessary at this point, as you've seen. They started with, canceling him off the internet. Then they went on to trying to incarcerate him, put him in jail. And now none of those two tactics worked. Now they have to kill him. So I don't know if this will be the final attempt. I don't know if they're going to do this again. I don't know, but it's just crazy. It's crazy what the heck we are living through. And I hope people are aware and seeing what's going on, that it's not so much, Democrat versus Republican. It's good versus evil. And again, for whatever reason, this side, the Democratic side, is being used for the evil. And again, nothing against them as well. I don't even know if they're self-aware of what's going on. But they're being used by whoever the hell is in charge of this stuff. Now, to look at it from another angle as well, if I am another country, if I am Russia or China, who would I like to see as president? I would like to see Biden as president if I'm China or Russia or any of these other countries. Why would I like to see him as president? Because he's easier to manipulate, he's easier to convince, he's an easier guy to deal with, to have your way. Trump, on the other hand, is not that guy. He's not the guy who's gonna just bend over backwards or be persuaded so easily. He's a very hard-headed guy. Yeah, he says some things that are a little off-chain again, but you can't necessarily look at that as well. At this point, we have two candidates. Who are you going to choose, right? So, again, if I'm Russia or China, I do not want to be dealing with Trump. I'd rather deal with Biden. Again, because he can be manipulated. This guy can't be manipulated. So, just to give another perspective on it, I guess that's the best way to put it. So I'll leave it with this, guys. At the end of the day, there's supposedly just two teams, right? It's not two teams. We're not against each other. It's one team. It's one team, and that's the human civilization, the human population, whatever you want to call it. This is probably one of the biggest elections that we may have in our generation. We'll see. Only time will tell. I think we need to come together and choose the correct candidate for leading the country, for leading the people. Clearly, whoever is in charge of all these things that are happening, negative things that are happening in the world, in the country, in the economy, whatever, someone has an agenda, and someone doesn't want Trump to be in office for whatever reason. He may know some information, he may pose a threat to that person, or he may just be a roadblock in their agenda. Whatever it is, he is not to get elected, right? So I think at the end of the day, we just need to come together, not as Democrats, as Republicans, but as people choosing the right path for the country, for us, and for the world. That's what I think it comes down to, is choosing the right person to put in place to run the world, to run the country, to not run us, but to run and speak for us, to be a voice. Now, I guess to kind of add to that as well, does Biden resemble strength when we are facing all these other countries? No, he does not. Trump does symbolize more strength versus Biden. So it's a little embarrassing, to be honest, that we have this guy representing one of the strongest nations in the world. It's embarrassing. But I'll leave it there, guys. I hope we can come together and put those differences aside and choose good. Choose good for the world, for the country, and for us. And to lead us and to be a face for the United States. Excuse me. But yeah, just wanted to kind of get on and talk about that. And again, I don't like to get too political on this channel, but it's just something that it's like, what the heck is going on? Like, this is just absolutely wild. At the end of the day, I think all this stuff is just helping his campaign. I think it's opening more people's eyes. I think more people are listening, and I say listening with their eyes and their ears and noticing what's going on. So, yeah, choose good, not evil, whatever that may be. But yes, at the end of the day, somebody does not want this guy in office, and it's pretty obvious. So, without further ado, guys, drop your comments. Let me know what you think about the assassination attempt. Let me know if you got any more information since I dropped this video, either before I dropped it or after I dropped it. I'm sure some type of information is going to be flowing out. Drop it all down below in the description, guys, in the comment box. But yeah, without further ado, be careful, be good, take care, and God bless. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.